Hello, welcome to Boardgame Basecoats, and today we are unboxing Remember Our Trip. This is the second of the Saashi and Saashi games that I knew about when I was living in the US that I really wanted to get, and now that I'm in Japan, I went ahead and bought this along with Let's Make a Bus Route. Alright, so all I know about this game is that there's tile laying, almost automatic purchase for me, and it's my memory versus your memory of basically a trip that we took. And there are two locations, so let's go ahead and see what we've got. First off, we have the rules. Here are the Japanese rules, and as ever, I usually don't keep alternative language rulebooks, but it's Japan, so I will keep it. And cracking it open, wow, this is just as dense looking as the other Saashi and Saashi game, and looks like we've got a flow chart here. I don't know if that's gameplay, and I remember that the other rulebook had this too. Nice bright colors. Looks like some examples for things, which is good. But wow, it looks so dense that definitely looks intimidating. Got some card descriptions. That's always good. Great. Looks like a nice rulebook. I will check it out. And these look like bookmarks. These are called modifier strips. You can see they're kind of warped. It's just thin paper. You know what they remind me of is like old school, like measuring markers or something. 5 of them, so I assume this is a game for up to 5 players, and everyone will get one of these. But wow, it seems kind of odd that they would just be these, wow, these little bookmark type pieces of paper. I mean, like, as I'm opening this, I'm so amazed by it that I pick it up, and I just can't stop touching them. Anyway, one side is for Kyoto and the other side is for Singapore. But wow, I really don't understand what the purpose of these is. Very curious now about their function in the game. But anyway, there are those. Moving on. Looks like we got plastic bag. Great. It's a good size. And here are what the game calls monument stands. So these are for the standees of some kind. Alright. I always prefer minis, but standees are good too. Here are some cards. And I love Japan when they use this kind of, you just has that little gummy stuff and it opens easily. Anyway, these are advanced objectives. And they certainly look complex. Wow. And they're double-sided. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure once I understand the symbology, it won't look so intimidating, but it certainly does right off the bat. These are what are called the standard objectives, and yeah, again, it's got the symbols all over it, but not as complicated as the advanced. And looks like finally, these are what are called the memory cards, and these I know a little about. So these are shuffled and then drawn, and then you have to place the color of the tokens to match these kind of patterns on your boards. So that's all I know about those. Here are what the game calls the start player and scoring markers. So basically, I guess the start one would be the white one, and each player has their own color. Ooh, a nice cloth bag, and it's big. Alright, I do appreciate big bags. I do have some pretty big hands, so yeah, that's nice. Great. Next up, the game calls these summary boards. Oh, they're nice. They have this really silky feel. They all look the same, just different colors, so to match those score tokens, I imagine. Wow, look at all the symbols. And I do know that I think you can write on these with whiteboard markers. Game doesn't include them, but we'll go ahead and set those aside. Here is the scoring board. It's kind of an interesting shape. I suppose that white spot in the middle would hold some cards, and it's double-sided. Huh. I wonder why they have those colors. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. This is the location tile board. Each area has its own special token, so that I guess would help organize it. This is the common board, so this goes in the middle of the playing field. And yeah, so these match the image board, so you'd use the image board that matches. And the one side with the river is Kyoto, and the side with the corner that has water would be Singapore. I really do like the colors of the game. It's not quite pastel-y, but it's very pleasant. So kind of nice. This is the game calls the action board. And I have to say, this white board is so smooth. Yeah, not really sure what that is. Let's get to some tokens. Alright, so these round ones are image tokens. The blue ones are hotels. Alright. And these purple ones are the sightseeing tokens. So these are for the bigger type of not monuments, but the bigger locations rather. And yeah, this white, I've never punched a board quite like this. It's so smooth. There's really, I don't know how to describe it. It's not crisp. It's just so soft, but it's not like foam or anything. It's definitely some kind of paper product, but it's just nice. Anyway, here are some sightseeing tiles, and I guess you'd use that sightseeing board to help organize and figure out which one belongs to which area. You'd use the standees for those. I don't know that I will, for the sake of storage. Now here's the first of our tiles. Alright, so I know that the round ones go into the bag, and these square ones are the ones that actually get placed on the common board. Alright, and we'll finish off there with some park tiles. Got one of these doohickeys. So I like it when games include them. If they don't, I always do. So it's kind of nice. Moving on, some more tokens. So again, the round ones here will go into the bag. The red ones here are restaurant tokens. Feels nice. And the orange ones here are shop tokens. Now again, the theme of the game is my memory of this area versus your memory of an area. So it's an interesting idea. Looks like, wow, more tokens. Great. And it looks like we have more of the restaurant tokens. Oh, and these green ones have a couple different varieties. Looks like benches and statues and such. These are the park tokens. I wonder if there's really any gameplay difference between benches and statues and such, or if it's just an added sort of decoration. And we're gonna finish off here with some more restaurant tiles. Great. And we've got more of these square tiles. Again, these get placed, I believe, on the common board, and it really is kind of a race to see who remembers the fastest, I suppose. So the big blue ones were the hotels, we had the park tiles, and of course these sort of red maroony ones are the restaurant tiles. It's kind of interesting that you know, your memory of a place will just be based on restaurants, parks, big landmarks, and I guess shops there. For me, when I travel, I tend to remember kind of off some weird things. Anyway, here's some sightseeing location tiles and the last of the sightseeing tokens. And this was a great box because I love punching tokens, so that certainly gave me a ton to punch. And we've got a ton of tiles here. Japanese games tend to be very dense, and they tend to come with these tiny boxes that just fit everything. So I don't think I'll be able to do my usual splitting of components for each player. So giving each player their player board along with their round scoring token and such. I don't think I can do it, especially with those bookmarks. Now there are a ton of tokens in here. Of course, I will sleeve those cards into this bag. Of course, I'll throw the round tokens. I'll have to figure out something for the square tokens, probably that bag or something. But yeah, that is that. Alright, so I'm really looking forward to playing the game. Love tile games, And I do appreciate you stopping by and checking this out. Thanks a lot. Bye.